Yeah. Greatness Personified. We got another episode. We got a special guest to deal with Will. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about some of the previous cards. I know we a little bit behind. We had a busy schedule, so we a little bit behind with the fights and stuff. So we're gonna be doing a couple episodes, maybe in the next couple of days. We're gonna break down UFC 316 and so today we're gonna talk about some of the fights that happened, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the Michael Morales and Gilbert Burns fight. How everything going, Will?
Man, everything's going good, bro. I went out to Atlantic City for work for a couple days, so I'm catching up on sleep, catching up on work, catching up on all sorts of things. Mother's Day just passed, and we boiled some crawfish out in my mom's house and did the whole get together thing. So yeah, we're doing good, bro, and we've been staying up on the fights. A lot of exciting things to talk about for sure.
Okay, let's talk about some of the exciting fights. I want to talk about Bo Nickal. Screw it, that's what I want to talk about, man. A lot of people are attacking him. A lot of people are saying like he was never that good and he was overrated. It's funny, but before the fight, everybody was on a hype train,
Mm,
and that's one of the things that I don't really like about that's the side of MMA I don't really like because before the fight, people picked him to win. But then after the fight, he's washed up and he's not good. But we got countless amount of shorts and videos on our channel where we said that Bo is a little overrated because I never thought he was a bad fighter. I just thought that he was calling out the Izzies and he was calling out the Hamzats and he was calling out the Dricus. And at one point he was like saying he can out wrestle Hamzat and some of his
yeah,
man. And then he barely let me see. Who he fought, man? Was it Cody Brundage? He kind of
yeah,
against him a
yeah.
little. But like I
Brundage,
say,
Craig.
I don't necessarily think he's a bad fighter, man. It's two ways you can look at this. You can look at it as if like maybe Rainer the Ritter is that dude because he lost to somebody who's tough, who's undefeated in the UFC. He's big. Like he was way bigger than Bo Nickel during the face-off. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you could look at it as if like maybe Ritter is that dude, or maybe you could look at it from the point that maybe Bo Nickel he needs to humble himself and like stop calling out the Hamzat, stop calling out the Izzies.
Yeah, well, he better be lucky that he didn't get that wish granted because you're right, he was calling out Hamzat and he really felt that he could beat Hamzat. But it's back to the drawing board for Bo Nickal. And I think there's a few things to look at. The fact that he came in at 220 pounds is what he said on the scale. And that was the week of the fight. So if that's true, Bo Nickal had to cut a lot of weight. Um, which brings me to my next point. Usually, when we see people have to cut that much weight, they usually find more success in the heavier weight classes. But what scares me for Bo is that he would be a smaller light heavyweight. Um, there, like we pointed to for Rainer de Ritter. I mean, he's 6'4". A lot of these guys in light heavyweight are around 6'3", 6'4", bigger frames.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that big frame for Bo. So I don't know what needs to happen in future fight camps, but maybe the weight cutting process should happen a lot earlier than what has been happening. But we look at guys like Aaron Pico, that just got signed to the UFC. Aaron Pico was a championship caliber wrestler
Mhm.
in college, as well as a Golden Gloves champion in his area. So not only did he have the wrestling, but he's got the boxing, and he's one of the more promising prospects. And he's also had a little bit of trouble. But for Bo to just have the wrestling credentials and be thrown into the highest level of the sport in the UFC, I think that there was a lot of hype behind him, and he flew a little too close to the sun, I believe. So I don't know exactly what adjustments he needs to make next, but the weight is very concerning.
I'm glad you said that. You brought up a good point, man, about going up. I feel like he has a massive size advantage at middleweight. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. I know Chris Weidman was a little past his prime, but he went up to light heavyweight and he fought against Dominic Reyes. You remember that?
Yeah,
And that's when I think Dominic caught him with left uppercut and knocked him out. But that size advantage he had at middleweight, he didn't have at light heavyweight. So I hate hearing fighters and fans talk about a fighter switching weight class after having one L, because Bo Nickal, it's gonna get worse from light heavyweight.
yeah,
It's gonna
I
get
I
worse
agree.
because you gotta understand, you 220, you weighing 220, bruh, on fight week, and you're bigger than your opponents, probably other than the Ritter. But other than him, he's bigger than all his other opponents. Maybe so. If he was to go up at light heavyweight, those guys are going to be his size or bigger. And they're going to be tall because guys like Jamal Hill was like, what, 6'3", 6'4"? They're
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's the thing, man. Like, I do think that he needs to humble himself, and like even him him calling himself a striker. You know what I'm saying? He was never a striker, man. He was a little bit overconfident with the hands. And then you said he kind of gave up, man. I don't necessarily think he gave up. I think he more so got frustrated and was looking for a way out. Well, I guess that's giving up, huh?
yeah, for sure. So what I saw in that fight was Bo Nickel get frustrated by the clinch work, by the knees to the body, the little rabbit punches up against the cage in the clinch. And I saw something come over Bo Nickel's face. It was just this look of frustration, this look of dismay. And it was almost like we could see him kind of checking out in that moment. So a lot of people point to the big knee that sat him down at the end, but it was like in the clinch
Yeah.
that final 30 seconds before that happened that it really felt like he was just having a hard time and he wanted out of that fight.
Just because you fight and you're an MMA fighter, that doesn't mean that you're a fighter. Doesn't make
Mm,
sense. And like,
absolutely.
and I'm not saying you should go out there and do rock'em sock'em robots and stuff, man, and fight crazy. But at the same time, Bo Nickel, he's done it before in fights, man. Like when if you don't get that takedown, he kind of check out of it, man. And
Yeah.
like he's not like somebody like a prime Robbie Lawyer who's trying to go to war. You know what I'm saying? Bo, he's a freak athlete, man. He's explosive. He's like I say, man, like he's a all-time great like collegiate wrestler. You know what I'm saying? But just because you're that caliber of wrestler don't necessarily mean that you got that dog in you. And I don't
Yeah.
necessarily, and there's not no attack on him. There's not no attack on him, man. I just think that he do need to make some changes, man. And like when you start calling fighters out, man, like it's kind of really I don't know if he can really shake back from this. He can shake back, bro, and fight lower level competition, but he kind of got exposed, man. Like it started whenever he got stuffed that time. He had the guy against the cage, and then the guy kind of turned him around, and then
Yeah.
I guess Bo felt his strength, and Bo kind of checked out right then, early.
Well, it happened against Cody Brundage too. Bo went in for a takedown, and Cody just absolutely threw Bo off of him. But it didn't stop him from continuing to pursue the wrestling. And you look at a guy like Bo who has all these credentials in that department, and it's like sometimes you're going to fail at takedown, but when you look at the fighters in the UFC that are great, like a Hamzat, like a Islam, like Habib, I mean, you name it, they keep going, they keep shooting for it, they dig deep on those takedowns and they commit to them. And I just wonder, where has that commitment been on the takedowns for his last two fights? It's his greatest strength, and he's gonna have to implement that more, especially down the stretch with some of these higher ranked fighters.
It's a confidence thing, man, because you have to. This is one of the issues I had with Bo Nickel. and that's where I kind of saw he had a ceiling. He has the athleticism, he has the talent, he has the wrestling, man. But this point, this level that he's trying to get to in the UFC in the middleweight division, that means nothing if you don't have striking and a way to set it up. Because if you
Yeah.
put in against guys like Gregory Rodriguez and some of these guys like Robert Whitaker, you can't just take him down. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
mix the striking, and I don't think Bo is confident enough on with the hands. Like, I'm gonna be honest. On paper, he has a lot of he has a lot of room for improvement, and he has enough talent to be champion. But
Yeah.
he's gonna have to make more improvements, man. Because like he mentally, he kind of checks out, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like wrestling is different from MMA, man. Like MMA, what happens if somebody throwing elbows and throwing knees? He ain't really used to getting hit.
Right. And what a lot of people aren't talking about uh, is the fight that he had against, I forget the guy's name. It was a short notice fight. Do you remember who it was? It was the black guy. He came up
Yeah,
from the what was his
he had.
name?
I don't know his name, but he had a bunch of knockouts, man. And he,
He,
yeah,
he did. And Bo looked incredible on the feet. I mean,
Val
he
Woodburn.
Val Woodburn, yeah. So Bo was just in and out, just tagging Val, and I just wonder if that fight gave him a sense of confidence with his striking and being on the feet, and maybe he's just wanted to practice that a little bit more, implement that, and show that in these fights. But yeah, Bo's gonna have to get back, which I'm sure he already is. I'm sure he's hard at work trying to prepare for his next fight. But I tell you what, it will be all eyes on Bo Nickal for his next fight. People are gonna be looking to see if he made the improvements. And guess what? If he does and he gets a win, all will be forgiven. This isn't boxing where if you lose one fight, the fans just write you off forever. So
But he needs a finish, man. Because I'm gonna be honest with you,
that's true.
I don't think he can hang with the guys at the top. I don't think he could beat
Not
nobody in
right
the
now.
top 10, bro. And
Not right now. Yeah.
the reason why I'm saying this, I'm looking at his record right now, and this is just not a good look, man. Dude, he beat Zachary Barrega on the Contender Series. He beat Donovan Beard. I don't know who that is. He beat Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett is the lowest level of fighters ever to be in the UFC. No disrespect to Jamie. He beat Val Woodburn on short notice. Val, he fight with his hands down.
Yeah.
He's a knockout guy, but he don't have good technique. He beat Cody Brundage. Like
That was
the higher he goes up in competition, the more he struggles. Like Hamzat would have beat Cody, that fight would last like 45 seconds.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? He fought Paul Craig. Some people thought he lost that fight.
Yeah.
Paul Craig, like, not really the best striker. So, like, the way that people were saying he was going to lose to the Ritter was because he really almost lost to Paul Craig.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So imagine he fights somebody who's just as big as Paul and grappling just as dangerous, but he's stronger and he has better striking.
Mm.
You know, so I think the thing is with the thing is with Bo Nickel, if it's a bad look, man, because the people he beat were like low level. The best,
Right. And I think the worst part of all of this is the optics of it. I'm not the only one saying this. I remember reacting to this live. I have a short on my channel where I'm actually reacting to the sequence when they're in the clinch. I remember saying, "Oh no, Bo's hurt. He's given up. He's hurt. He's done." And I had over 100 comments on that video where
you
I
said
would
what?
say about 85 to 90% of the people agreed with me.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is.
Okay.
We talk about Bo Nickel all day, man. But
Right, right.
let's see. Daniel Rodriguez looked good against Santiago. Well, apparently he was losing. He came back and he won, so he looked impressive. Man, this is another fight I want to talk about. But Montel, he looked good against Daniel Marcos. But the one fight that
Yeah.
I talk about is the Jeremy Stevens fight, man. And you coming back, you pretty much fighting in
Ooh.
your state, man, your hometown. And Mason, man, look, he fought kind of, boring, man. Like, I mean, they had moments on the feet, but Mason just, stuck to the game plan. And there's nothing wrong with that, man. But it's, you fighting Jeremy Stevens, man. You go out there.
Well, I will say this. I will say this, right? So immediately when the bell rings, I'm looking at Mason and I'm like, man, he is a pretty big guy for lightweight, right? And the fight goes on, and I really discounted Jeremy Stevens' ability coming back, being out of the UFC for so long. Obviously, he was active in the bare knuckle and stuff, but I didn't know how well he would do. But he was very surprising. I mean, he was looking like the Jeremy Stevens of old. And if Mason would not have changed his game plan up in that third round, where he started to actually wrestle a little bit more, I think that somebody might have just went to sleep.
Yes, and honestly, like one thing Jeremy can take from this is too, it was times where they both were cracking each other.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Jeremy could look at it as if like he always has puncher's chance, but it was
Right.
times where they both were hitting each other, and maybe he would have got caught the way the fight was going, man. Maybe because he's Mason started slowing down, but if he keep landing, man, there's only so much you can take. So maybe Jeremy kind of dodged the bullet.
Yeah, well, I will say it was a great performance for Jeremy Stevens. Um, Yeah, I mean he looked very impressive. He looked very impressive. And shout out to Mason for making the adjustments needed to win that fight, because I do think that he was starting to lose momentum a little bit going into the second round. And I feel like he started to take it back towards the back half of that second round. And then, like I said, in the third round, he started implemented the wrestling and doing what he needed to do to secure the victory. So shout out to him.
Okay, yeah. Now we're gonna talk about UFC 315. I feel like this card was more stat. Man, dude, did you see the Mark Andre Barriott fight and Bruno Silva?
I didn't, bro. I started watching on the prelims. I didn't watch the early prelims.
Dude, this guy got knocked out, man, and he was out for like 20 minutes.
No,
It was one of the
really.
worst night. It was one of the worst knockouts we've ever seen, and they had to carry
Br
him out on a stretcher.
Bruno Silva got knocked out?
Yes, but he fought Mark Andre. So these are two knockout guys, and like they both could have knocked the other person out. You get what I'm saying? But he got knocked out like he was against the cage and he threw Mark through like one or two short elbows and the guy and Bruno went down, man. And he landed like one or two shots and he was out.
Yeah, Bruno's tough too. He had a real close fight with Poatan.
Yeah, man. He a little past his prime, man. But I mean, it was a scary though. It was a scary thing, man. Like seeing some fighter take that damage like that, bro, and having to leave out on a stretcher. It's something we don't really want to see.
No, I did not see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that. I didn't catch the early prelims for 315. I was a little tied up.
And then my Modestas fought against Ian Cutelaba, man. That was some people were saying that was a robbery. They said Cutelaba won the first two rounds, and the guy might have won. Modestas probably could have won the third, but there's no way he should have won that, bro.
No, so when I actually was making a video during that fight. It was the third round, and the way I was talking in the video, I was really hyping up Kutsalaba. I was like, "My God, Kutsalaba is the definition of aggression. He's done exactly what he's needed to do in this fight. He's one of the better unranked light heavyweights." And I submitted the video, and then the decision comes out, and he loses. So then I had to go back and make another video. I didn't delete the video I posted. I just made another video and said, "Wow, what a robbery!" And a lot of people agreed with that.
And there was some other fights on here too that we're gonna talk about real shortly to where it was kind of like, oh, did this person win?
Bad decisions. There were some bad calls.
But like, okay, next, bro, let's talk about you know who Mike Malott is?
Yeah, the Canadian.
Canadian. Yeah, so he was able to win. That was a good one, bro. Benoit Saint Denis fought. He took care of Cal.
We got to talk about that one real quick. So I think Benoit Saint Denis might just have worse fighter IQ than Michael Chandler. And the reason I say that is because he's such a good fighter, but he tends to get himself into these really dangerous exchanges on the feet, striking exchanges that he really shouldn't even be in the first place because he's a good grappler, he's a good wrestler, and he has all the tools that he needs to be able to win every single round decisively. Really, I believe against everybody in that top 15. It might get a little dicey against a guy like Arman or Islam, but man, I just don't know why he decides to get into these striking exchanges. And when he does, it's almost like he's throwing from the hip, just leaving everything up here open. And, he's very lucky that he won this fight because he was fighting a guy that got cut from the UFC, Kyle. And, he's making his return on short notice. If he would have been able to get the job done against Benoit, it would have been a really bad look. But
And
we
that's
can
how he
play.
lost to Dustin Poirier, man, because Dustin was able to catch him. He
Yes,
countered him and it hurt him. You know what I'm saying? That's how he knocked him out, bro. So
right.
Benoit, man, it's weird because he came a long way, bro. Because his striking was terrible when he came to the UFC, so he's way better. But against guys like Armand and Charles, man, like his striking, like he would get obliterated by these guys on the feet.
Yeah. He's just too irresponsible on the feet. I mean, he goes full frenzy, full kamikaze, and he commits everything to some of these striking exchanges. And if guys like Kyle Propelic are catching him, he's going to continue having a lot of trouble as he continues to fight up the ranks.
Another robbery we got to talk about is the Amen Zahabi versus Jose Aldo. And Jose, he has a career of getting robbed, especially in the bantamweight division, which technically this is featherweight because he missed weight, man. But
Right,
most people saw that Jose won 2 rounds. Well, it depends on how you look at it, bro. Because he hurt Amon in the third round,
hurt
and
him bad.
he hurt him bad, but then he got kind of tired, and then A-Man was able to kind of get on top of him and just ground and pound and stuff, man. And then, so, like, how do you even score that third round? Do you give that to Jose or do you give it to A-Man?
Well, and I discussed this a little bit on a live stream yesterday. Um, it's the optics, right? So Jose, I think, won the first 2 rounds decisively, and then the first half of the third and final round, I believe he won. But it's the optics, and it's what the judges are looking at. When a guy is on top of you, raining down elbows, busting your head up like a freaking watermelon, that's a tough way to end a fight. So it's like, how do you look at it? But because you can argue that the optics of standing up with a guy, dropping him a couple times, hurting him bad, having him run away, it looks also pretty dang bad. But judges have a bad habit of forgetting what happens earlier in the round,
Right.
and then things that happen at the end. They tend to remember that a little bit more, which I think that's human nature a little bit. um I I didn't think it was an outright robbery. I mean, I had Jose winning, but you cannot end a fight getting your brain bashed in. Jose was extremely irresponsible with emptying out the gas tank like he did, because
I think
Zahabi's durable.
I don't know if I agree with that, man. I think you have to go for it because Jose, he's been criticized before of trying to outpoint his opponent and win a decision. And I think he fought perfectly. And then what people are failing to remember is he hurt Zahabi and landed a left high kick.
Hmm.
And he kind of did what Vitor did to Dan Henderson. He hurt him, and then right when he was coming up, he dropped him with the head kick. So I think honestly, man, you could look at it as if like maybe Jose was tired, which that's your body language and stuff is bad. It's a bad look for the judges, man, because it kind of looked like he was looking for a way out and he was tired. But my thing is, if you won the first 2 rounds, like if you won the first 2 rounds and then the third round probably could have been a draw. How
Yeah.
do you lose that fight?
At worst, it should have been ruled a draw. But Jose Aldo won that fight. I predicted that he would win and then retire after. He didn't. He wasn't able to go out on a win, but I am very impressed with the level that Jose Aldo is still fighting at what 38 years old.
Yeah.
He's one of a kind, and he's gonna always be gonna be remembered for the tenacity that he fought with.
I kind of hope he can kind of still stay in the game and do like some
Boxing or something.
commentary or maybe some social media stuff, man. But I hate seeing these guys retire and you know what I'm saying, they're not able to bring in the same money and stuff like they did before, man. But
Yeah.
let's talk about another robbery, man. Valentina Shevchenko fought against Manon Fiorot, and there's no way that Manon
Mm.
lost that fight, man. I had
Mm.
Manon winning. I had Manon winning that fight.
That's very interesting. I predicted Manon Fior to win. I thought she was just going to be too big and too dominant. She's given everybody problems. You know, she reminds me of like a Holly Holmes, but a little bit better. Like right, she's good with the kickboxing. She also has a little bit of wrestling in her game. And I thought that ultimately the control time was going to be enough for Manon to win. Um, but I did not think that it was a robbery. You know, I wasn't surprised at all, but I knew that it was a close fight. But look, Manon is going to be somebody that's going to uh, fight for the title again. I mean, she's really, really good. And I think, um, you know, if she goes back and can redo that fight, she might have a different approach. Also, her nose getting compromised in the first round, I think that set a bad tone for the rest of the fight. But she's tough. Ultimately, what I saw was Valentina just being a little bit better at everything
Hmm.
that Manon was trying to do. So other than the wrestling, I liked what Manon was able to accomplish
I,
there.
I hate like whenever Valentina have close rounds, they give it to her. You know what I'm saying? Because I think you're rewarding Shevchenko for being inactive. Because it was times to where there was times when nothing happened, but there also was times where like when something did happen, Manon was the aggressor. And
Yeah.
they give these moments to where it's close. Like Shevchenko whole career has been like that, to where these moments where nothing is really happening, they give it to her. You know what I'm saying? She done it against a lot of people she fought against. They've given her close rounds. But like I say, I mean Manon, she looked good, man, and
She did. And let me say real quick, I am also a fan of to get the belt, you have to decisively beat the champ. Now, I know that's not the world we live in. You know, if it goes to a decision, the judges are going to score it based upon their criteria and what they see. But I like to see a changing of the guard whenever the champion is thoroughly beaten. And you know, I just didn't see that. I thought it was a pretty close fight, but I did think that Valentina did do enough to get the win in the end.
speaking of getting the win and winning the belt, man, Jack Della fought against Belal Muhammad. I was wrong. I picked actually, I went out on a limb and picked Belal to win by TKO. And for some reason, Belal didn't start grappling until later on. And Jack, honestly, but I was still wrong because I thought Belal was gonna put hands on him. And Jack striking is on a whole different level, man. Like if Jack would have fought Leon Edwards like a month ago, he was gonna beat Leon.
Yeah, so I was waiting to see the Canelo hands that Bilal was talking about. You know, he was bragging that he had improved his boxing and his striking did look good. This was Bilal Muhammad's most exciting fight in recent memory, maybe ever, right? And I don't know. I think JDM may have just cracked the code for some of these wrestling guys. From that region of the world, whenever he would throw his jab, he would lean down, almost anticipating the takedown coming after it, and he was able to get around a few takedowns that way and put himself in a good position. Also, I want to note the head movement from JDM. You know that the head the head movement was on point.
He
He
always
was,
had head movement though.
huh?
He always had head movement. It's the knees, man. Where did the knees come from? Because he was known for the hands and the boxing. and he was throwing more kicks and more knees. It was like, man, he's improved more.
Yeah, JDM is probably one of the better all-around MMA guys in
I
the entire sport. He does
I didn't
everything
say
well.
that, man. I don't think he's like he still has his holes, bro, and his whole
Sure,
like
sure.
Belal didn't grapple him like he should have. Belal waited to the third round before he started grappling. Was it the third or the fourth round when he kind of started getting aggressive
I
and like he
think he,
kind of played it?
I think he might have shot early on and got denied, but like I think he secured his first takedowns in the later rounds. But look, he these guys hear the noise, and he promised that he wasn't even going to shoot one takedown. He wanted to show off his hands, and he was able to, but um, it cost him. It cost him.
True. Look, being loyal, like being a man of your word, man, it really hurt him, man. But now we got a new champion, and maybe tomorrow or maybe some other time this week, man, because I'll be off the next couple of days. We're gonna
Yeah,
talk about Jack and some other, maybe another opponent. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Dive in too much, man. We only got like 8 minutes, well, 7 minutes left. But like that's pretty much all I got to say about Bilal and Jack, man. They both of their stocks went up, man. It was an amazing fight. But before we go, man, I want to talk about a fight that's happening this Saturday, man. Michael Morales versus Gilbert Burns. For some reason, Gilbert take the most dangerous fighters or matchups possibly or possible. And it's just I don't know why he does that, man. He's fighting these dangerous knockout guys. Why are you fighting Hamzat? Why are you fighting these guys that's dangerous? Bilal on the win streak. You know what I'm saying? Like you're fighting these guys, man, and you're putting yourself in a situation to where, man, you're gonna get finished.
yeah. So I'll say this about Gilbert Burns. I do respect him for fighting the highest level of competition. Um, but I'm curious to see how he looks coming back. I think he's a little bit outside of his prime, and the reason I say that, like, if Gilbert Burns' last fight was his fight against Hamzat, I'd like his chances a lot better. But we've seen him get hurt. He got injured in the Belal fight. And then we saw him get finished by JDM. And obviously, these are the two top guys. So it's no knock. But man, Morales is a guy that is probably about to put the entire world on notice.
And that's why we're talking about it right now, man. Like Michael is one of those guys that a lot of fighters have been they've been avoiding his name. They've been avoiding talking about him. How come y'all call out these guys? Y'all call out certain guys, but then y'all don't call y'all call out Usman. Y'all call out some of these
Yeah.
other guys in the welterweight division, but nobody's calling out Michael Morales. So you're pretending like what is he like 15-0? You're pretending like Michael
Yeah,
Morales don't
17, I
even
think.
exist. You know what I'm saying? And then he looked great against Neil Magny. He had the ground and pound. I didn't think he was.
Yeah.
I thought he was going by knockout, man. But he showed that he can he can hurt you. That's more likely how this fight gonna end. I think this fight gonna hit the ground, and I think he's gonna get full amount, and I think he's gonna. But then again, Gilbert, you don't want to go to the ground with Gilbert either, man. So I think he'll probably finish him like in the second or third round. But Gilbert, man, I love like Gilbert has been one of my favorite fighters for a long time, even when he was in lightweight division, man. But
Yeah.
I don't like his bad tendencies he has. He has a lot of tendencies that he never really worked on, man. He don't throw jabs. He lead with hooks. You know what I'm saying, bro? He throws
Yeah.
everything, all the punches. He don't set nothing up, bro. And against Michael, that's gonna just be easy money. His Gilbert Burns, I know he's a shorter welterweight, and he's coming from the lightweight division, and but he struggled with distance bad. Like he's one of the worst fighters in the welterweight division that struggles. He struggles with distance the most. Cause like notice like
Yeah.
fighters can kind of like hit him from the outside. He just freak out. Like he don't know what to do. Like when fighters can hit him, he can't hit them back. You know what I'm saying? And but like I say, I love Gilbert, man. He probably got robbed against Hamzat, but like I say, man, I think his best
Yeah.
days
That.
are over with.
Yeah, I knew that when he lost to Kamaru, it was going to be tough for him to make his way back, um, especially with all the new contenders that are coming up now. But shout out to Gilbert for continuing to fight the best, but I just believe that Morales is going to make a name off of Gilbert, and it's going to be a changing of the guard, so to speak. Gilbert might be on his way out, and Morales is certainly on his way into top five talks here very soon.
Yes, I think he's gonna be one of these guys, man. He's gonna be one of these guys. Like he's one of the boogeymen. He's one of the
People
boogeymen. Because you have some guys
and
you can have like the Shavkats, you got Jack Della, you got him, you got right now you got Joaquin Buckley. He's one of the four horsemen.
yeah, and people talk about Joaquin Buckley like he's a world beater. And I know he's picking up momentum, but if anybody's like that, I believe it's Morales. That's who I believe we need to watch for.
Especially when he's undefeated, man, and he gets people out of there.
Yeah,
And you know
finisher.
what's scary, bro? Like he's 23.
25.
Well, he's 25. But I remember when he first came to the UFC, he was like 21. He was like 20, 21. So like he's been in the UFC for a minute, but when he first came there, he was like a kid, man. And to see him
Yeah.
evolving, he kind of reminds me of a young GSP, man. But he's like a young GSP, but he has more knockout power,
Yeah, he's strong.
you know. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about that, man. And that's what we're gonna do. Like, we're pretty much done with this episode, but if you want to, bro, like we can record tomorrow and we could talk about UFC 316, and then we could maybe talk about like another card that's coming up, man.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about some of these big matchups that have been announced, some
Mm,
other big matchups that are in the works,
mm.
haven't been finalized but are close. So yeah, I'd love to talk about it.
All right, I appreciate everybody, everybody who's watching this video. I appreciate you deal with Will.
Yes,
Um,
sir. Thanks for having me on.
yes, and I'll talk to you later, man. We'll schedule the next time we record, man.
All right, sounds good, brother.
All right, man.